Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Lindan Tuli. I'll be your driver today as a program director. I'm very excited to be here. And I greet all the students who have joined us today, everyone who's joining us from wherever you are in the country and even outside the country. We are excited to be streaming live right now on Facebook. It's exciting to know that this day celebrates education, because the Soweto boycott was just for this, to ensure that our education gets better and better. And thanks to TUT for always keeping the flag running high, because we know that we've got to achieve something. But before, maybe in terms of my opening today, I'd like to go through a message of shift, because for me, education is the greatest equalizer we have. And it's important that we understand what shift is about. And for me, S for shift stands for socialization, which means you are as good as the people you have kept around you. And it talks about social entrepreneurship as well, which is something that is the way to go today throughout the world. But H in shift talks to habits. You need to have habits to spend at least 30 minutes of your time every morning to invest in yourself, to reflect, and to ensure that the day that you're going through is going to be a great day. But also, you need to have hunger to change your situation, hunger to move on, hunger to ensure that you become an achiever and not a complainer. But I for shift talks about input, no deposit. If you are not depositing anything, you're not going to be able to withdraw anything. So you need to have inspiration to finish your course. And it's important that you finish strong. But F for shift talks to fruitfulness. You got to trust your abilities. You got to come out of your comfort zone. You got to push and stretch. When I speak about stretch, I always say rubber bands come in different shapes, rubber bands come in different colors, rubber bands come in different sizes. But rubber bands are not effective unless they are stretched. Stretch yourself, be fruitful. But lastly, T talks to timing. Timing is everything. You see, all of us have got our timing, and there's also God's timing. But it's important that you master your time, because if you master your time, you have mastered your life, because time is one of the greatest currencies we can think of. So please use your time to your advantage. As a student, even during COVID-19, make sure that you study. Even during COVID-19, make sure that you improve yourself. Even during COVID-19, make sure that you do everything that is possible to take your life to your next level. But now, shift means you are the key to change. You see, shift starts within you, but we will even see the impact of your shift in terms of your actions and what you are doing. Shift is underway. Shift in my perception, shift in my feelings, shift in how I approach things, shift in how I align myself to greatness and to growth, shift in not waiting to be employed, but making it a point that I create my own employment. Because you see, every time you are doing something that is shifting, it means you are deploying yourself. And there are great men who have deployed themselves even in history. Mandela was just that example, who deployed himself. He was a wonderful and a very successful lawyer, but he needed to fight for our rights and ensure that justice is done. And guess what? He spent 27 years of his life in jail. How old was Bill Gates when he did Microsoft? How old was Steve Jobs when he created Apple? How old was Mark Zuckerberg when he founded Facebook? How old was Aliko Dangote when he did his first business? How old was Patrice Motsepe when he started doing everything that he's doing in business? How old was Oprah Winfrey when he had her first show? She had a first show on TV. So you need to ask yourself, what are you doing with your time? Are you shifting? Because if you are shifting, it means everything in your life will shift. With those words, I just want to say to you, welcome, welcome, welcome. And at this point in time, I'm going to ask our director, Director Kukuletu Kaba, just to come in and give us everything that has got to do with the tone of today, because this is not just a normal day, but it's a great day, and we need to really know more about it. Over to you, Babukaba.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ntuli. That was wonderful. We need a shift. We need a shift. I would like to welcome all our students who have joined us here. Welcome DJ Spoo as well for always agreeing to be part of these conversations. TUT has developed a new strategic plan for 2020 to 2025. We have 4 legs of that plan, but the first leg, or the pillar, is that we want to develop future-ready graduates who make a positive societal impact. Let me say that one again. We want to develop future-ready graduates who make positive societal impact. I think it's important that as we are looking at today, it's a youth day. It's important that we need to go back and reflect. Look at the topic of today. We are saying that we are having a theme of youth power, growing South Africa together in the period of COVID-19. How do we then learn lessons from the youth that has taken this country to its liberation, looking back? If you look at the youth of the 60s, Nelson Mandela, Walter Sisulu, and all of them, actually when they rose, there was a problem in the African National Congress. The leaders were becoming old, they were just educated, they were not radical. Mandela and the crew started like challenging the status quo. They said we need to do something about this thing, and then they had to develop a rallying point, which is what culminated into a freedom charter. They developed that. You move forward, and when you look at the youth of 1976, when the leaders were arrested, but let's go back first. Mandela and the crew and all the people who were leading with him, they had to confront the fear of death. That's why the fear of arrests, actually in particular, because during those particular times, the apartheid government used to arrest people. So they had to confront that. That's why if you look at the past campaign and many other campaigns, they were looking at, let's get ourselves arrested so that we can give people confidence and stop having the fear of being arrested. In the 70s, you look at Steve Biko, the leaders were arrested. They were just young at university, and they said, no, we need to develop something to conscientize our nation and our people. They started with developing the philosophy of Black consciousness through the readings of Marcus Garvey and all the other people. So that youth, then they had to confront the fear of death. CSC Mashinini and the group, they had to confront the fear of death, because what happened when the people marched with Mandela's in Sharpeville with the PAC, they were killed. As a result, people were scared of death. They were scared of death. And then what this generation was confronted with was, we need to lead our people to a stage where they are not afraid to die. As a result, CSC Mashinini and the crew, they organized people and they marched. And the students were killed and the people were killed. But one thing big happened. They confronted and they overcame the fear of death, which was the second fear which they had a problem with. When you look at the group of the 80s, the youth of the 80s, they had to confront, they were no longer afraid of being arrested. They were no longer afraid of dying for the liberation. Then they had to go there and then lead. You remember in the 80s when we were still in the high school, there was a struggle for textbooks, free Mandela. The Mandela campaign was not going to make it in life if the students were still afraid of death, if they were still afraid of being arrested. So they had to confront that. And then they led. You go to the 90s, the same thing. We're fighting for access when we had Vetstex, at Tlogelo Technikon, at Buputaswana University, at Teflop. They were fighting for access and proper conditions. So they had to confront the fear of being expelled, the fear of being excluded. They had to confront that. You look at that, you go to the 80s, 90s, you go to the early 2000s, it was still the same struggle. 90s was about the struggle for transformation. It was the struggle of inclusion, the struggle of being taken serious. And then the students were leading all these struggles. 2016, boom, fees must fall generation. They come and they lead a struggle for dignity of the people, a struggle for a dream deferred, because the dream of liberation was deferred at that particular time. People were having small houses, but young people were not getting free education. And the young people were reminding the government to say that you said to us people's education for people's power. You said to us there shall be free education. And young people, they led this thing. But young people had a fear of some kind during that time. There was a lot of victimization in these institutions of higher learning. That's why when you look at the character of the Fees Must Fall movement, it was leaderless. Nobody knew who's the leaders of the Fees Must Fall movement. It was every student. leaderless movement, because they were trying to confront this fear of victimization. Fees must fall, students rose and they got the free education. That's why we're enjoying it today. Most parents are enjoying this free education, which was done by young people. Boom, we're in 2020. There's COVID-19 now. We must ask ourselves, what is happening now? What is it that is the biggest fear? I've analyzed it, Mr. Ntuli. I think the other scholars and intellectuals and students are thinkers. They can analyze it with me. I think the biggest fear that people have, especially young people, is the fear of the economy. We've got the fear of the economy. We must get a job. If we don't get a job, it's bad. We're having this fear. I think young people must get this call to challenge the fear of the economy. For instance, if I have to speak as an intellectual, this economy is not working for majority of the black people. Why are we afraid if it's collapsing through COVID-19? Because if it collapses through COVID-19, it creates new economies. Young people must see this thing as an opportunity so that they can innovate. When a restaurant in Cape Town closes, for instance, it gives an opportunity for a new restaurant that sells malamukhoro in the same spot in Cape Town that's probably led by a young person. So why are we afraid for the death of this economy, which is not working for majority of the people as intellectuals? We must talk, we must say, young people, stop being afraid of this old economy. Create a new economy. Stop being afraid of, I'm not getting a job. How about you starting your own business? How about you being innovative, using your own brain, your own mind to be innovative? This generation, this youth generation, their job should be to innovate. COVID-19, we must not be afraid of it. For instance, I've heard that a lot of old people are dying. Old people with insurance money are dying. I see it as a transfer of the economy from one person through insurance to a new generation. If there was an old person who did not want to use the money to hire black people into their company, suddenly they die. A younger person in that family starts a business that can hire black people. It's a new economy, it's innovation, it's not all bad. So young people are not going to die in their masses in this COVID-19. What does that mean? It means young people have an opportunity to fill some of the gaps, because it's obvious people are going to die. That's what scientists have told us. So there's an opportunity for young people to be able to occupy the space. The question is, are young people ready for this time, for this moment of COVID-19? It's an opportunity to innovate. It's an opportunity to take the moment and make sure that at the end of the day, we do things better. So Babuntuli, as you are going to talk to us with Usbuda, please talk to our young people, make them realize that they don't need to fear this economy, because this economy has not been working for them. So they need to start a new economy, an economy of young people based on innovation, an economy of young people who are educated, an economy of young people who've been prepared by the generation of the 60s, the generation of the 70s, the generation of the 80s, the 90s, and the fees must fall generation, which is always disrupting. It's time to disrupt and create a new economy.
Wow. Thank you so much, Babkaba. That is so mouthful, and I really think it's so true that we really need to create something new. We cannot be doing something over and over and over again, expecting different results. So we need to push ourselves. So yeah, thank you so much, Babkaba. That is so mouthful. At this point in time, ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna introduce a hustler of note. I'm gonna introduce a friend. I'm gonna introduce Usbusiso Liope, aka DJ Sbu. I'm gonna introduce a founder of Mofire, founder of Massive Metro.
Yeah.
I'm gonna introduce a guy who's hungry about success. I'm gonna introduce an intellectual. I'm gonna introduce the guy who studied engineering but left engineering just to ensure that he is doing what he's passionate about. This guy is a hustler of note. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me at this point in time to take the baton and give it over to our friend and our brother, Sbusiso Liope. DJ Sbu, take it over, my brother.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ntuli. Thank you very much, Mr. Klaba, and the leadership of Tshwane University of Technology. All the students that are tuning in on the Facebook page. I've also just switched on my social media platforms. Hello, everyone on Instagram Live. Hello, everyone on Facebook Live. In case you know your brother or your sister who's not aware of this talk, who goes to TUT on any one of the campuses, or who is a student, you can tell them to, they don't have to be going to TUT, but if they are a young person, maybe they're even in their 20s, you can get them to go to the Tshwane University of Technology Facebook page. That's where this Zoom gathering is happening. I appreciate the opportunity. I think Mr. Kaba, because you spoke about the economy is collapsing. Yes, as far as the government is concerned, and as far as people that are invested in this economy, it's a bad thing. But what I've been saying all along is us as entrepreneurs are feeling the pain the most. I've been saying that if you don't have a business, you are in a better chance than ever. You shouldn't be complaining at all. I personally have not been taking salaries. It's going for the 4th month now. I've been speaking to the bank. I'm trying to make payment reliefs and arrangements. I haven't been able to, especially this previous month, to pay all of my bills. As you would know, us Black people, we carry a lot of people on our shoulders. You are responsible for quite a lot of people. So it hasn't been easy. But what is great on the other side of the coin is that it's a great opportunity for you. You're not losing millions. You don't have to fire anyone. You're not losing equipment. You're not getting your business shut down. You are actually at the big, I've been saying all along, we were very lucky as me. I was one of the lucky people to have started businesses with the start of social media, because we took advantage of social media to grow these brands. As social media grows, our brands are growing without having to have had to spend millions advertising on all the different platforms. So we came in at the right time. And I think it was great. And the narrative that I've been preaching all along is coming to fruition. I think a lot of you guys are starting to see it. I've been preaching, let's start our side hustles. Let's start learning how to sell, how to close. With that being said, I think you guys are in a similar position now. You guys are in a better position than ever before. You're in a better position than the fees must fall generation. You guys are in a better position than the generation of 1976. You guys are in the best position ever right now. Why am I saying so? Because almost all of you guys are internet savvy. If you go to TUT, you don't have a Facebook account, an email address, a Twitter account, or an Instagram account, I understand you're probably focusing on your studies. But I'm definitely sure most of you guys do know how to maneuver that space. You do know how to use social media. You do know how to maneuver the internet. You do know how to surf the internet. You know a lot of knowledgeable websites. Obviously, the popular ones, you would know the social media platforms that are there. This is the right time now, because you know what? A lot of the businesses that are taking off right now are being started by young people, and they are starting them on the internet. Now, some of the people who might not know, apart from all the jobs that are getting shut down, even before this COVID-19 thing, there were so many jobs that vele during the future or looking into the future, these jobs are getting obsolete. So if you've been studying to become an accountant, I think your job in the future might be in a threat. I'm going to read you some of the jobs that I think that are at a threat. And if I mention something that you are currently studying, you're going to have to follow Prasmood as well while you're studying. Start a side hustle, Kona Manj. Bookkeeping and payroll clerks, administrative and executive secretaries, assembly and factory workers, client information and customer service workers, business services and admin managers, accountants and auditors, material recording and stock keeping clerks, general and operating managers, postal services, financial analysts, cashiers and ticket clerks, mechanics and machinery repairers, telemarketers, electronics and telecommunications installers and repairers, bank tellers, abasebenza bank, related clerks, car, van or motorcycle drivers, sales and purchasing agents and brokers. Again, my business, I'm a hustler, door-to-door sales workers, news and street vendors, I'm taking some newspaper stratini, statistical, finance and insurance clerks, including lawyers. Now, I'm not saying these are getting obsolete now or next year, but in the long run, in 20 years, more than half of these jobs that I've just mentioned would have disappeared. So if you're studying any of these, and even if you're not studying any of these, I suggest you start right now. And do your research on the internet on some of the things that you can get into. A little bit later on, when Mr. Lindantuli gives me an opportunity to speak again, I might suggest some of the few options that I think you might have to pursue, which are online, which are digital. If you're not familiar with digital or the internet, you don't have an email address, start familiarizing yourself with the internet, start getting an email address, start getting a laptop if you don't have one, start using your phone as your laptop, start knowing how to maneuver and become internet savvy. If you already are internet savvy, you can get information online if you do your research thorough on a lot of opportunities that are out there online. And guess what? There is so many of them, guys. There's a lot of them. There's a lot of them. There's so many of them. I cannot even, I'm going to mention to you guys a little bit later on, maybe 10 to 15. But there's so many, there's so much opportunity right now. But you're gonna have to know how to maneuver the internet. You're gonna have to tabalazi data. Nokuthi ukhona uyihafa every month data ukuthi uhlala usecomputeni or ukhona uhlala ukuspana online. But it is that time, guys. It's June 16. It is your time. You are young, you're fresh. I started TS Records when I was 21 years old with TK. I was a young kid. We didn't know what we were doing at the time, but all we knew was that we wanted to own our masters. We wanted to start our own record label. We wanted to start our own thing. And we went on to run a successful record label for about 12, 13 years, you know? And that was a business that was started by young people. If you look at Kalau, it was started by young people. Although we might not have had educated brothers who were our partners at the time, who might have formalized our structures to have given us that structure for us to have even done better. I believe when I look back now, we didn't know better, we could have done better. But with that being said, we still had the lever to go ahead and pursue the business. We still had the lever to be entrepreneurial and pursue our God-given dreams, which was to start and own a record label, our own business. We did well, we grew there, we made a lot of mistakes, we learned, but we enjoyed life, we made a lot of money, we created brands for ourselves. A lot of them are known now in the country. Right now, you guys are watching me because I am a DJ Spoo, but it comes from the youthful energy that I had to want to start something. Today, I'm an entrepreneur. I no longer have the fear that I used to have then. But because I never had the fear to start TS Records, that's why when I start Massive Metro or when I start Mofire and people laugh at me, I don't have that fear. I don't even have the APS syndrome because I know what's in my head. I know where I'm going as well. And I'm sure you guys you would have seen the progress up until now on the grind and the type of energy that I've been putting into the work that I've been doing. I'm an independent person. What I preach, Mina, is let us all be independent. If you're relying on the government all the time, you're gonna have to wait for them to come and ask for votes and promise you heaven and earth. And if they don't promise, we obviously are disappointed a lot of the times. For us to fill our stomachs, look after our families, make a change in our community, we have to do something ourselves and be independent. When I was fired at the SABC, I didn't cry foul. As a matter of fact, I thanked the SABC. I left a great relationship that I can always walk into that building anytime and close a deal. And as a matter of fact, I'm currently negotiating a deal. I'll be doing some work with them. I can walk into Metro FM anytime. I can walk into YFM anytime. What does that tell you? It tells you even in your hustle, maybe when the timing. You know, don't burn your bridges because life is all about networking and relationships. Who you know is who you become. So the people that you're at school with right now, whether you're studying your first year, you're studying your second year, you're studying your third, your fourth year, people that I went to class with are people that I'm in the phone with today and be like, what are the opportunities there in your company? Some of them are CEOs in all these big companies now. Some of them are brand managers, marketing managers. We are able to conduct business and work together. Why? Because we've kept a relationship from Eskela, from Dala. But we never had fear then to start our TS Records. We never had fear then to disrupt the music industry, the same as in now. 5 years ago, we never had fear to disrupt the beverage industry. As much as we're still struggling with it, we're still growing at it, but we don't have the fear. Nobody employs us. We're on our own. Right now, the people that we employ, we are working very hard to save their jobs. We'd rather go on for all these couple of months and not get paid so that we can save our brothers and sisters' jobs. But if I don't think we could bring salary for so long, save because bengeke ngibe naloyo nembeza because akusabantu bakithi mara ngoba khona manje abantu bakithi ipain ayifani ukuthi bakusebenzela kuza ngamuva kodwa kusala uba abantu and babeka ukudla phezulu kwetafula kwamafamily wabo. So that's the reason why you have to be a boss. And I don't like using the word boss because a boss sounds like it's always their word. But that's the reason why you guys have to be leaders of your own castles. You guys have to build your own. We have to, you see, it's the economy that you guys have to get right now. That's the biggest fight that you guys are fighting, the economy. But the biggest advantage that you guys have right now is what is going on all over the world. There's a lot of conspiracy theories that always, when there's big crises like this, the same word in China means opportunity, which means conspiracy theories say things like, and the likes of Robert Kiyosaki have been saying another recession is coming. He's been preaching that over the past couple of years. I've interviewed him twice over the past couple of years, him coming into the country. Some of my seminars that I've done, I've hosted Robert Kiyosaki, and he's told me it's not only the 2008 recession, there's another one coming very soon. You'll see. They're going to collapse this economy because they want to usher in a new economy. I never knew it would be done like this, it would happen like this. If you go search his videos, Robert Kiyosaki right now, he's one of the people you can listen to. He's one of the people who's been preaching this type of information or what's going on, what will be going on right now. And with type of this recession happening, how many opportunities that you guys have right now that you can emerge. Because I really do believe with everything we've still been through, as we've been put through as Black people, we've survived anything and everything. And I still believe we've got a greater opportunity right now of rising higher and becoming great. If we could build more, if I could build more fire as a brand with just my phone, just for the past 5 years, I've just literally drummed this can into your eyes using my phone. You guys now know this as a brand. You can't even differentiate it from other. You see it now, Coca-Cola, my fridge, Red Bull, my fridge. I've just used my phone. This is the powerful tool that you guys have right now. Whatever the elite's agenda is with AI in the future, it doesn't matter. You guys are in a great space for using this to make money, for using your laptop to make money. Just get Wi-Fi, get internet connected, get yourself an email address, and get on working. A little bit later on, I'll give you more opportunities that you can exploit online that are there for you to make lots of money, not just like to make lots of money. And I encourage everyone to do so because it's your time, guys. You guys are young, you've got the energy, technology is here, the old economy is collapsing. It's time for the new economy that's going to be run by you guys. Mr. Ntuli.
Sbuda, thank you so much. I think let's just get into it, Sbuda, the opportunities you have spoken about. But I love the fact that our talks are really harmoniously intertwined. I spoke about shifts.